Topic number 3, third biggest topic, 49ers related heading into training camp. What happens to John Lynch? Where in the world is he? And what does he do for a living?
Yeah, I like that. What does he do for a living? That's an important question. I assume Parag negotiates the contracts and has a lot of juice with Jed, much more than John Lynch does. I mean, I'd say it's not even close. So he doesn't do that. Scouts the players. Well, clearly the final choice is the coach, maybe as it should be. I don't know how good the coach is at judging players, or the head of the scouting, whoever. I don't even know who it is, Iggy. You know who the head of the scouting is. So where does John Lynch fit in? And I guess more important, where's his power base?
Yes.
And as you've pointed out in many videos and columns, they gave the coach a contract extension and not him. Not only is that odd, to me, it's a real slap in the face. So I think the message is, you're not all that important to us. I feel, now I know John Lynch, and he's a nice man and very bright and a decent guy. I think if we were able to talk to him, he would have all kind of doubts about where he fits in. Iggy, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, look, he hasn't tweeted in 2 months or spoken to the media in 3. Do you think he's just on vacation? It's like a big misunderstanding.
I think they've told him to shut up, or he's so angry he shut up. Unless he's ill and we don't know it, and if he is, I hope he's well.
There's a 2% chance that there's something we don't understand, but basically it looks like they've phased him out or beginning to. And I don't understand why. I mean, for his pattern was, I don't know what his power was, but they always trusted him to talk about the team. Whatever happened, John, you talk about it. You're smart, you're articulate, people respect you. You played in the game. He was the voice of the team on KNBR, in press conferences, and we got him a lot during the draft, before the draft, and then he had a couple of press conferences after the draft, and he's gone radio silence. I can't help but notice that the last thing he said to the media was a press conference about George Kittle's contract extension. And he basically went on the radio and said, Kittle's going to have to lower his demands. We have to find a sweet spot and compromise. He hasn't really spoken since. Maybe that wasn't helpful in the negotiation. Maybe the Niners are looking at him being like, I don't know, John, we don't need you to talk right now. You're not helping. So I have theories. I have no idea. But the longer he goes without talking, it makes you think like he didn't get that extension. It's not going to come his way.
You know, you raise an interesting point, voice of the team. I call it the CEO.
Sure.
Someone who's the focus of media attention and fan attention when a serious topic gets discussed. You know, who is the voice of the team? Usually it's 3 or among 3. It's the general manager, the coach, and the quarterback. Those are the 3 CEOs. Iggy, would you agree with that?
Always.
Okay. On this team, the quarterback is not the CEO because he's not compelling in that way. The quarterback is Richard Sherman, but he's just a cornerback.
Right.
The quarterback is usually the CEO, not in this case. The coach could be the CEO, Bill Walsh. I mean, what a voice for a team, okay? Not this coach with wearing that hat and, looking down and muttering.
Right.
He's a very honest man, but he's not a charismatic man.
No, he's a little dour.
He's a little dour. He looks like a library nerd, like I was. He looks like a library nerd.
Totally
he's
agree.
Always studying plays.
Yeah.
So the CEO can't be Parag. He doesn't like to be in public.
Right.
He can't look me in the eye. The CEO can't be Jed. When he's in public, he says all kind of amazingly ridiculous things. It's John Lynch, and you need somebody like that. And I don't know if these people understand that.
Well, they understood it 3 years ago because that's why they hired him. They realized that they needed to get Jed York out of the spotlight and that Kyle Shanahan was too young and didn't need to have all the responsibility of being everything. But for whatever reason, over the past 3 years, it seems the Niners' opinion has changed, and they feel that Kyle Shanahan has totally proven himself, and he deserves more power. He deserves an extension, and John Lynch still either has questions that he needs to answer, or they're going to let him leave when his contract expires. Maybe there are things that we don't understand, like his work for drafts is just horrendous. Who knows? Maybe he's a terrible scout, but I still think he has value to that organization just in being him and explaining what they do, because they don't do a good job explaining what they do.
I'd like to, before we wrap this up, because the idea of being the CEO, the voice of an organization, I'd like to give an example of some people I think are. I think John Gruden, although I don't really think he's a very good coach, is clearly the CEO of the Raiders.
Yeah.
Certainly not Mark Davis.
No.
Not the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Gruden is compelling. He's a compelling character. You would want to read about him in a novel.
Yes.
Up in Seattle, it's Pete Carroll.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Here's an interesting one. In Dallas, Jerry Jones wants to be, but he's a loser. And that capacity, he stinks.
He wants to be Al Davis.
He wants, right. Al Davis was the CEO par excellence, right?
And, you know, he fired Mike Shanahan back in the late 80s because Shanahan became his head coach and tried to ace out Al Davis to be the CEO on the Raiders. And you can't ace out Al Davis. It's his team.
He certainly did. You know, that's maybe we should end there, but those are some interesting ideas on CEO. And it's right. Mike competed with Al. See you later.
Well, to come back to the beginning of this topic, we said, what does John Lynch do for a living? He's like the press secretary. He's the White House press secretary.
Oh, you're so smart. I love it. I hadn't
He
thought
is,
of
right?
that.
He speaks for the president, but he's not making decisions. I don't think so.
And you know what? You need a good press secretary.
Yeah, because if you have a bad one, it makes everyone look incompetent.
Yes.
And Jed York's a bad one. Moving on.